Okay, we're going to go ahead and lay our second sheet of paper in. I'll try to do this so that you can see the edge. As soon as it makes contact, we'll release and then go ahead and press down so that it makes contact with all surfaces. You may notice this page is wanting to curl a little bit more, so the paper may have not been quite as wet as the last sheet. Sometimes if the first sheet absorbs a lot of the water, you may have to re-wet the paper towel. Usually I can get it to work for 2 or 3 sheets of paper before having to re-wet it. You have to kind of just keep an eye on that depending on how hot it is. But if it is curling, just push it down a little bit so it does get in contact, and those edges will at least have some silver on there so you get a nice clean surface. Okay, so there's a tiny amount that's starting to leak over this edge as I start to press it down. So to avoid getting that and having it pour across my whole sheet of paper, what I want to do is make sure when I go to lift this out, then I'm going to lift it towards that edge. So I'm going to grab this corner here and raise it out and allow that little bit that did get on there to at least drip away from the center of the sheet of paper so that it doesn't end up giving us a line on the back, which will darken that area of the print. Okay, so we'll just hang this one up in the same fashion as the other one and allow those to air dry. It is okay to use a hair dryer if you're in a hurry. The hair dryer and heat does make the albumen paper a little bit glossier, so you can't always kind of expedite the drying process that way as well. So here we have our 2 sheets of paper, and again we're just going to take a piece of paper towel and gently kind of run it along this bottom edge and absorb up some of that extra silver. And this will just help 2 things. It'll help it dry a little bit more quickly. If we have a big puddle of silver down at the bottom, it's going to take longer for it to actually dry. And also it'll prevent some of the dripping that may occur. And again, with the wet silver, we want to be really cautious that we're not going to get it on us, because again, it'll stain your skin. As soon as you go outside, it'll start to get exposed to light, and mix with the salt in your skin, it'll start turning brown. And as you try to wash it off, it'll get even darker, and it'll last for a week or so until it actually the skin sheds. But prolonged exposure to silver can end up with deposits other places, so we just want to be really cautious when working around the silver. And so we'll try to sop up as much of the extra as we can, and that'll also help it dry a little bit faster. So we'll give those a few minutes, and then once one is dry, we'll start exposing. So the final thing is just to wash up with the silver, since there may be some splashing when we go to wash out both of these, both the tray and the funnel. It would be a good idea to keep the eye goggles on so that if there is something that splashes up, it doesn't get in your eye. Again, silver can damage the eye if it gets in there, so we really want to be cautious and make sure that we wear protective gear. So I'm just going to use this tube to allow the water to run in there and wash it out. Now, because there is some silver still in here, there will be a white precipitate, which happens when we develop as well. And the reason for that is the silver, as it starts mixing with iron and impurities that are in the water, it starts to change into, and just gives us that cloudiness. And so that's one of the ways to be able to check as we're developing that we're getting all of the silver, unused silver out. It will no longer give us any of that cloudy effect, and we'll just have clean water. And so we'll run that through a few times until our water starts to stay clear. And here to make sure that we have all the silver out of here as well. It's starting to look pretty good. Now that we're cleaned up, we'll just wait for those to dry. Since that's all that we're going to be sensitizing today, let's go ahead and we're going to put away the silver. And and so we'll just use a funnel to help facilitate that. These trays are actually really great for pouring, but just to be safe, we'll go ahead and use the funnel, and we'll pour this silver back into the bottle. And then just to be safe, it's always a good idea to go ahead and wipe off the bottle so that we don't get the inside of the cupboards dirty, and so that somebody else doesn't pick it up and get silver on them as well. There we go, so that was pretty dry. And we'll get that put away.